The first day at a new school is never easy. For Emily, it felt like stepping onto a stage where everyone was already part of a show, except she had no script, no friends, and no idea how she would fit in. The hallways buzzed with laughter, whispered secrets, and cliques huddled in corners. Emily walked quietly, holding her books tightly to her chest, her head slightly lowered. She had always been the quiet girl, the one who blended into the background. But what nobody knew, not the teachers, not the students, and especially not the bullies, was that behind her calm eyes and soft voice, Emily carried a strength few could imagine. It didn't take long for the bullies to notice her. New kids were always easy targets, especially quiet ones. By lunchtime, Emily had already heard the whispers, "She looks weird. She's too shy. Bet she's an easy one to mess with." She ignored them, just like her mother had taught her. Don't give bullies power. Hold your head high. But ignoring them only fueled their curiosity, and soon, their cruelty. The ringleader of the group was a girl named Vanessa, tall and sharp-tongued, with a pack of followers who laughed at every cruel joke she made. To Vanessa, humiliating others was a sport. When she saw Emily sitting alone in the cafeteria, quietly nibbling her sandwich, she smirked. "Perfect," she whispered to her friends. "Let's have some fun." At first, it started small, books knocked from her desk, whispers in the hall, sarcastic compliments about her clothes. Emily remained silent, refusing to lash back. But silence can sometimes be mistaken for weakness. And Vanessa wanted to prove a point, that the new girl was nothing more than a toy to be played with. One afternoon, as Emily walked through the courtyard with the cool autumn breeze brushing her hair, Vanessa and her gang cornered her. Emily froze. Her heart raced, but her face stayed calm. She had been trained to control her emotions, to breathe through fear. Vanessa circled her like a predator eyeing its prey, then smirked. "What's with the skirt, new girl? Trying to impress someone?" Vanessa sneered. Her friends giggled. Then, without warning, Vanessa reached forward, her hand grabbing at the hem of Emily's skirt, trying to lift it up. Gasps erupted around the courtyard. Students froze in place, some laughing, others too shocked to react. But in that moment, something inside Emily shifted. The fear evaporated, replaced by a cold, unshakable resolve. With a swift motion, she grabbed Vanessa's wrist, twisted it in a controlled lock, and stepped back. Vanessa let out a yelp of pain, her knees buckling as Emily's movements flowed with precision. The courtyard went silent. Emily released her, but when Vanessa lunged again, Emily didn't hesitate. She spun on her heel, delivering a clean sidekick to Vanessa's stomach, not too hard, but enough to send her stumbling backward onto the grass. The bullies stared, their mouths wide open. Nobody had ever stood up to Vanessa like that. Emily's voice, steady and firm, broke the silence. "Don't ever touch me again." The crowd erupted. Some cheered, others laughed nervously, but one thing was certain, the quiet new girl wasn't an easy target anymore. But Emily's story didn't end there. Victory came with consequences. The bullies were humiliated, and humiliation breeds revenge. Vanessa, furious at being embarrassed in front of the entire school, began plotting. Over the next few weeks, the bullying didn't stop, it escalated. Snide remarks turned into cruel pranks. Her locker was vandalized. Her homework mysteriously disappeared. Rumors about her violent outburst spread through the school. Emily struggled. She had moved to this town for a fresh start, hoping to escape the loneliness of her old school. Now, it felt like history repeating itself. She wondered if staying invisible would have been easier. At night, she lay awake, torn between the teachings of her karate master and the heavy burden of isolation. Karate is not about fighting, her master's voice echoed in her mind. It's about balance. About protecting yourself and others. But true strength is shown in restraint. It wasn't just about winning fights, it was about finding peace. But how could she find peace when Vanessa's gang tormented her daily? One day, Emily found herself standing outside the gymnasium after class when she overheard Vanessa and her friends laughing about another prank they planned, this time, to trip her during a school assembly. Something inside Emily snapped, but not in anger, in determination. She realized running or hiding wasn't the answer. She had to face this challenge not with fists, but with courage. The next day at the assembly, Vanessa tried her trick. As Emily walked across the stage to collect a small award for academic achievement, Vanessa stuck out her foot. The crowd gasped as Emily stumbled, but instead of falling, she shifted her balance effortlessly, turning the stumble into a graceful recovery. She straightened, smiled calmly, and continued walking. The audience broke into applause not just for the award, but for the way she handled herself with dignity. Vanessa's face burned red. Her plan had backfired. That moment marked a turning point. Slowly, students began to see Emily differently. She wasn't just the quiet new girl anymore. She was strong, graceful, and unshakable. Some even began to admire her. A few reached out to befriend her, curious about her karate training and the calm way she carried herself. Still, Vanessa didn't stop. One afternoon, she confronted Emily again, this time more furious than ever. "You think you're better than me, don't you?" she spat. Emily looked her in the eye. "No. I don't think I'm better than anyone. But I do know I won't let you treat me or anyone else like this." Her words hit harder than any punch or kick. For the first time, Vanessa didn't have a comeback. She turned away, her gang following in silence. Deep down, Vanessa knew she had lost not just the fight, but her power over others. Weeks passed. The bullying died down. Emily began to find her place in the school, making friends who respected her for who she was. She still trained every evening, not to fight, but to remind herself of the discipline and balance karate had taught her. Her story spread across the school like wildfire. For some, it was just gossip, but for others, it was inspiration. Students who had been victims of bullying found courage in Emily's example. They realized that strength wasn't about fists, it was about standing tall, protecting yourself, and refusing to be broken. In the end, Emily's journey wasn't about defeating bullies. It was about proving to herself and to others that quiet strength is the most powerful kind. She didn't need to shout, brag, or fight for attention. Her actions spoke louder than any words ever could. And maybe, just maybe, Vanessa learned something too.